Good morning.
Good morning, Rinpoche. Yes.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, Rinpoche.
Good morning. Can you hear and see me?
Yeah, I can see you and can hear you very clearly in purple.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm traveling and I'm at the airport right now. So yeah. But yeah, I thought because I don't want to cancel today's class, so thought like we will continue today. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rinpoche.
Yeah. Okay. So we will do the usual setting of the motivation, which is to attain enlightenment for the sake of all sentient beings. Okay, now the mandala. Thank you. Thank you so much. Last week during our class, we had you have very kindly celebrated my birthday, but I actually wanted to do something meaningful and fruitful. So on my actual birthday, I went to a very big Indian school. I think they have about 6,000 students. I was there for 3 days, giving teachings, talking with faculty members, so talking with our staff. So it's a very, very, very busy day. So it a very fruitful, tiring, but also very fruitful day. So basically, just want to report on my students that I had my birthday was very well spent, and also because today, even though I'm traveling right now, but because the topic that we are supposed to cover today is very important, so I choose to take it instead of canceling it. Yeah, thank you. So because this is still the very early stage of the year or the new year, so I thought it's very, very appropriate to begin our year with this topic, which is to arouse the bodhicitta or generate the bodhicitta. So today we will talk about arousing bodhicitta, classification of the bodhicitta, characteristic of bodhicitta, definition of bodhicitta, so on. So basically something very important, one of the most important aspects in Buddha's teaching, which is bodhicitta. That is what we are going to cover today. Yeah. So bodhicitta is, so if you have the book in English, the page number is 218, 218. So the name of the chapter, name of this particular chapter is called Arousing Bodhicitta. So bodhicitta, yes.
Yeah.
So bodhicitta is divided in bodhicitta. So first of all, we have to we find out what bodhicitta is because we talk about bodhicitta all the time. So there are two words here. One is buddhi and the other is chitta. So the first one is buddhi. Buddhi means so even within the Sanskrit word of buddhi, there's like two syllables, bo and di. So basically, it summarizes two things. One is accumulation or having everything that is positive, that is accumulation, and the other thing is elimination. So eliminating everything that is being negative. So basically, everything positive come in, everything negative go out. So that is the meaning of Bodhi. And this actually is a reference, or it's a synonym for Buddhahood. Bodhi and Buddha have Buddhahood and Bodhi have similar meanings. Very similar meanings.
Yeah.
So bodhicitta and Buddhahood is very similar, not exactly same. I will explain about this maybe some other time. But in this particular case, when we say bodhicitta, that Bodhi is same, exactly same as Buddhahood. So here, when we say Bodhi, we are actually referring to Buddha.
Ở đây thì
Bodhi
thầy
means Buddha here, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So the second word is chitta. So chitta means mind, or for this particular matter, it means mindset, attitude. So here, what it's saying is the attitude or the mindset to aspirational mindset to become a Buddha. That is the meaning of bodhicitta. So when we say bodhicitta, we are talking about the aspirational intention of someone to become Buddha, and not just for oneself, but for the sake of all sentient beings, for other sentient beings. So that is the meaning of bodhicitta. And if somebody who has a bodhicitta, then that person is called bodhisattva. Yeah. So in simple words, bodhicitta is the mindset to become Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings. The very strong intention in order to work for sentient beings, in order to serve other sentient beings, the aspirational intention, the motivation to become Buddha, that is bodhicitta. So bodhicitta has two categories or two classifications. We call them the relative bodhicitta and the absolute bodhicitta. Two relative bodhicitta and absolute bodhicittas. So there are two types of bodhicitta, and even though we can classify in two types, but like absolute and relative bodhicitta. So absolute bodhicitta is bodhicitta just in name. So absolute bodhicitta is not a real bodhicitta.
You say that absolute bodhicitta is
Yeah.
is only in name.
Not real.
Not real.
In name, yeah, not real bodhicitta. Just in name, it's called bodhicitta. I will explain why.
Yeah. You say the absolute bodhicitta or relative bodhicitta.
Yes, absolute bodhicitta is not real bodhicitta. It's not real. Yeah.
Not real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not real. Yeah. So it sounds confusing because absolute means real. So when you say the absolute bodhicitta is not real, and relative seems not so real, and when you say like relative bodhicitta is not, even though it sounds relative bodhicitta sounds not real, but that is the real bodhicitta. So that's really a little bit confusing, right? Yeah. So for this, we have to understand. I will explain maybe later when we talk about absolute bodhicitta later, but just a small introduction. So when we say absolute bodhicitta and relative bodhicitta, we're not talking about the nature of the bodhicitta. We are talking about the function of the bodhicitta, not the nature, but the function. So when I say the function of the bodhicitta, so what I mean is, you know that in the world there are two types of objects. One is relative object, or let's call it this way. In the Buddhist teaching, there are two truths: absolute truth and relative truth, right? So like that in our life also, there are something that is relatively real or relative objects, and then absolute objects. So the two bodhicittas are related to the relative object, relative truth, and the absolute truth. So absolute truth, if you are familiar, if you have heard before, is the emptiness, the nature of all phenomena. Emptiness is the nature of all phenomena. Emptiness is the ultimate truth. Emptiness is the absolute truth. So like that. So the bodhicitta or the mindset of a bodhisattva, before I told you, remember, someone who has a bodhicitta is a bodhisattva. So a bodhisattva's mind, which can actually grasp, which can actually understand the absolute truth, that is called absolute bodhicitta. bodhisattva's mind that can understand and grasp the absolute truth, meaning bodhisattva's mind that can realize or understand emptiness is called the absolute bodhicitta. So anything other than the ultimate truth or anything other than the absolute truth, which is emptiness, so anything other than emptiness, such as a sentient being, such as Buddhahood, such as compassion, such as love, such as our emotion, all these things are relative truth, is not absolute truth. So for that reason, the bodhicitta, which the object of that bodhicitta is relative truth, is called relative bodhicitta. Object of that bodhicitta, which is absolute truth, is called absolute bodhicitta. Oh yeah. So it's defined by the function of the bodhicitta, not the nature of the bodhicitta. The classification of relative and truth, ultimate relative bodhicitta and absolute bodhicitta is defined or classified according to the function, not the nature. So in this regard, the bodhicitta which deals with the absolute truth is called absolute bodhicitta. The one that deals with relative truth is called the relative bodhicitta, like that. Yeah. So if you remember my first what I said in the very beginning, bodhicitta is the aspiration to become Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings. So in this regard, that is the definition, that is the nature of the bodhicitta, right? To become Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings. So now, the absolute bodhicitta is not thinking about becoming a Buddha. Absolute bodhicitta is thinking about emptiness. So therefore, it's by its nature, it is not a bodhicitta. So therefore, absolute bodhicitta is not a real bodhicitta. Yeah. So this is one way to classify bodhicitta. Okay, so bodhicitta can be classified into many different aspects. So this is one aspect. So another aspect is called a classification according to the courage, classification according to the determination of the bodhisattva. Okay, so in this regard, there are not two but three types of bodhicittas, um, three ways to invoke bodhicitta. Okay, so that is classification of the bodhicitta according to the determination or the courage of the person who is practicing.
Yeah.
So the three classification is called the king-like bodhicitta, the boatman-like bodhicitta, and the shepherd-like bodhicitta. King, boatman, shepherd. Okay. Yeah. So the king-like bodhicitta, like normally in a kingdom, in a land, the prince, if he can become when the prince becomes the king, then he has all the power, all the control. So then he can, as a king, as a kind king, because he can look after the subject, look after the people, take care of whatever is wrong in the country or kingdom. He can actually um, repair that. He can actually fix whatever is wrong, all of that, if he becomes the king. So basically, the intention or the intention determination is that I will become the king first, or I will become the Buddha first. So I will become Buddha first, and then I will take care of all other sentient beings. So that is called the king-like bodhicitta. The second one is called the boatman-like bodhicitta. Uh, yeah, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud. Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay,
Yes, I can hear
okay.
you loud.
So,
Yeah.
so the second is the boatman-like. Okay. So the second is called the boatman-like bodhicitta. So which is so the person who wants to generate bodhicitta, person who is practicing in bodhicitta, invoking bodhicitta, is thinking like, if I become Buddha first and then take care of all other sentient beings, that is very selfish of me. I don't want to be selfish like that. I want to become Buddha. Uh, for all sentient beings, I want to become a Buddha, but I don't want to become a Buddha before them. That is being very disrespectful, not compassion. So actually, I will go with all other sentient beings together and become the Buddha with them. So me and all other sentient beings become Buddha at the same time, like that. So, for example, like in a boat, the boatman, who's the driver, and the passenger, they all arrive at the same time to the other to the shore, to the other side of the river. So this idea is that I and other beings will become Buddha at the same time. So the third one says, for me to become Buddha before everyone is selfish. And for me to become Buddha with everybody together is also kind of selfish too. I really care for all the sentient beings. I really, really do. And I want to become Buddha for them. But at the same time, I think I should let everybody become Buddha first. I want everybody to become Buddha first. I will work so hard. I will sacrifice my own aspiration to become Buddha so that everybody else can become Buddha before me. So basically, like a shepherd, which will set all the sheep in front, and the shepherd will be at the back. So like that, this is called the shepherd-like bodhicitta.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the three types of bodhicitta that you can generate uh, according to the courage, according to the determination that you have. Okay, so it is said. So out of the three bodhicittas, the king-like, the shepherd-like, and the boatman-like, out of the three, only one is possible, like which is that to become Buddha, like to become Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings. I want to become Buddha first. Before everyone becomes Buddha, I become Buddha first and then help all sentient beings. So this one is the only one that can actually work. The other two, if you want to become Buddha with all sentient beings, that's not possible. All sentient beings, like too much in number, everything not going to happen. If you let everybody become Buddha first and then you become Buddha last, then what is the point of being a Buddha? Because the reason you want to become a Buddha is to serve sentient beings. So if you become a Buddha already, then there is no, I mean, if everybody else become Buddha before you, then there is no sentient being to save, no one to protect or teach or look after. Everybody is already a Buddha, so you don't have to be a Buddha. So basically, out of the three categories, only the first one, which is the king-like bodhicitta, is credible, uh, is a valid bodhicitta, is a valid form of bodhicitta. But as an intention, it actually signifies the intensity of the determination of the student, how much you want to be a Buddha. Like I don't want to, wait until I become a Buddha. I will let all sentient beings become Buddha first, and then I will do it, or I will do it together, or I will do it first and then let others like that. So it depends on the intensity of the student who aspire to become a Buddha, like that. Yeah. So, do you want me to continue further? There's so many more classifications. Uh,
Các quý
shall I
vị đạo
continue more?
Sila. Go on, please, Vipul. It's very, very,
Continue.
very
Okay.
good.
Continue.
vâng, các đạo
Okay.
hữu có thể tiếp tục ạ. Vâng.
Okay. Okay, so there's another set of classification. Actually, there are 5 or 6 different classification of bodhicitta. So we will cover only 2 or 3 today. So another set of classification is called classification of the bodhicitta according to the there is something called the bodhisattva bhumis, or the ground, or the level. Bodhisattva level, bodhisattva no, no yeah, bodhisattva level, or bodhisattva. I'm in the airport lounge, so like I think like 45 minutes they actually change the Wi-Fi or something. So I have to go for the anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for the classification of bodhicitta, so there's something called the bodhisattva's level, right? Like ground, like it's like a position, top position, like low position, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there is like 10 levels of bodhisattva. 10 levels of bodhisattva. And so classification of bodhisattva by these classification of the bodhicitta according to the bodhisattva's level. So if you remember, bodhisattva is someone who has a bodhicitta. So by the level of the bodhisattva, the bodhicitta, the mind, bodhisattva is the person, bodhicitta is the thought. So bodhicitta is classified according to the bodhisattva. So in this way, there is another classification. Maybe I will explain a little bit about that. So in order to understand that, you have to understand something else, which is called the five path. So whether you are in the Mahayana practice or Hinayana practice or in other practice, our the progression of our practice, the progression of our spiritual practice is from one path to the next path. Like the first path of the five paths, it progresses from the one to the two, second to the third to the fourth, like that. So first path is known as the path of accumulation. So it's actually start to accumulate merit. The second one is called the path of joining or engagement. Sometimes they call it the path of preparation, but I think the proper translation would be to join or to engage. Second path. So these two, the first two, the accumulation and the engagement, the joining path, these two bodhisattvas, bodhisattva is the person, bodhicitta is the mind. So bodhisattva, these two bodhisattvas are what we call ordinary bodhisattvas, not Arya. So they are the bodhisattvas who are still suffering or living in samsara. Those two, the first two. So number 3 and number 4 is the path of seeing, to see. That means to being able to see instead of like realization, think about it and then understand, but you can actually see emptiness, the reality, absolute truth. Like you can see the cup like this. You can actually see the body, see the ultimate truth with your, you have a direct perception of the ultimate truth. And then from this and above are all the Arya Bodhisattvas, which means those are the Bodhisattva no longer in samsara. So it starts with the part of the seeing, to see. Number 4 is known as part of meditation. And then the last path is known as part of no more learning. So no more learning is same as Buddhahood. So part of accumulation, joining, seeing, meditation, these are the cause, and the result is no more learning, which means Buddhahood. So this is 5 paths. So now please refer to page number 218 on the English book. This is the last paragraph, classification according. So what this says is, so remember the first 2 paths, part of accumulation and part of joining. So the bodhisattva who has the bodhicitta, a bodhisattva who belongs to the first 2 category, his or her bodhicitta is called arousing bodhicitta by practicing with aspiration. That's the name of the bodhicitta for these first 2 paths. So the third one, of course, is if you remember, the third path is the path of seeing. So any bodhisattvas who is on the path of seeing is also a bodhisattva who is free from samsara. They are known as the Arya Bodhisattva. So Arya, a noble bodhisattva. Before that, you are ordinary bodhisattva. So when you start becoming the noble bodhisattva, Arya Bodhisattva, then the 10 stages of the bodhisattva, 10 bhumis of the bodhisattva, 10 levels of bodhisattva starts. Before that, no level. You're not even in part of that. So then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. So 10 levels. So from the first level to the 7th level of bodhisattva, the bodhicitta within the bodhisattva, who is from the first level to the 7th level, now that one is called arousing bodhicitta through excellent and perfectly pure intention. So from 7 to the 10th, so the remaining 3 part of the remaining 3 bhumi, or the 3 stages of the bodhisattvas, the bodhicitta of the last 8, 9, and 10 level of bodhisattva is called arousing fully matured bodhicitta. So bodhicitta for the last 3 stages is called fully matured bodhicitta. So then after the 10th bodhicitta, bodhisattva, then of course is the Buddhahood, which is the path of no more learning. Remember the 5 paths? So the last one is no more learning, which is synonymous, which is same as Buddhahood. So when you reach the Buddhahood, when you reach the path of no more learning, then the bodhicitta within you is called the bodhicitta free from all obscurations, or free from all obstacle hindrances. So remember, in the beginning, we talked about relative bodhicitta and the absolute bodhicitta, right? Two classification. So now relative bodhicitta also has two aspects, intentional and applicational. So application and intention. So this is like, I want to become Buddha. I want to become enlightened, fully enlightened Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings. So if you have a very strong intention to become a Buddha, just like that, that intention alone, nothing else, you don't do anything, that alone is the bodhicitta of aspirational bodhicitta, or sometimes it's called the wishful bodhicitta, like that. Other form of bodhicitta is when you not only have the intention to aspire for the ultimate Buddhahood, the Buddhahood, like to become a Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings, but you also engage in generosity, patience, meditation, things like that. Any activity, any spiritual, virtuous activity, in order to become a Buddha, so the bodhicitta in your mind, in your heart, the bodhicitta in your heart, when you are actually engaging in compassionate actions, doing spiritual walks, things like that, at that particular time, the bodhicitta within the bodhisattva is called uh, applicational or sometimes the bodhicitta of application of bodhicitta, or sometimes they call it bodhicitta in action. So bodhicitta in wishful thinking, bodhicitta in action, like that. Yeah. So the example was for that you wish to go to Bodh Gaya because you see other people go to Bodh Gaya or a very holy place, Buddha got enlightened, like that. So you wish to go to Bodhicitta, but you're not preparing anything. You didn't plan anything. Not you didn't buy the ticket. You didn't nothing. So that is a wishful intention to go to Bodhicitta, to Bodh Gaya. And the second one is you're actually on the journey. Maybe you are in the plane, you are on the bus, you are packing, you are buying the ticket, you are booking the hotel room. So that time you also want to go to Bodhicitta, but it's different. Now the wish, the intention is now in action. So that now uh, differs the two types of bodhicitta: the bodhicitta in intention and the bodhicitta in application, like that. So thank you. I will stop here for Q&As now. And the next chapter, the next week, our session will be on training in the bodhicitta precepts, the rules of the bodhicitta. This is what we are going to cover next week. Do we have questions? If you have questions, I will try to answer them.
I have not received any questions so far.
Okay, that's fine.
You can stop.
That's fine. Yeah, I think we can conclude here. It's a perfect timing. Yeah, now we will do the dedication. You can read together with me. Yeah, I cannot read very loud in the app, in the lounge. Lama Sangye Tukuro Toa Chidam Maleva Keke Sala Seva Chanjo Semjo Zepo Che Maye Pan Kikyo Che Keba Nyamba Meba Konen Kondo Peva Sho Lo Wei Jai Be Shavai Lai So Wai Mi Mi Jine Jine Boy John Good boy, my
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rinpoche.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
very much.
you. Thank you,
We
everyone.
wish
Have a
you
safe
a very
night.
good
Safe
flight.
trip.
Yeah,
Rinpoche.
and
Thank
we
you.
look forward
Thank
to
you.
seeing
Cảm
you
ơn anh Hưng
next
nhá.
week.
Yeah.
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 Cảm ơn anh
Have a
Hưng
safe
nhiều.
flight.
Dạ vâng, cảm ơn
Rinpoche.
anh Trang, Tư Hiền, công đức và các
Thank
quý
you.
vị đạo hữu, và hẹn
Thank
gặp
you.
lại quý vị đạo hữu vào tuần
Thank you
tới
so
ạ.
much.
Vâng.
Thank you, everybody.
Happy
Thank you,
birthday
everybody.
chị Yên nhá. Happy birthday
Vâng.
Yên nhá.
Cảm ơn
Thank you
Thank
chị.
you.
Cảm ơn chị. Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. Cảm
You all
ơn
have a
tất
good
nhé.
day.
Cảm ơn các anh chị em.
Vâng ạ.
Xin chào.
Cảm ơn chị Yên.
Have a good trip.
Dạ, cảm ơn.